Hey guys, so I'm here with Nancy, who is an HBS grad. Nancy was actually one of a student from the very first batch of students that I worked with in Taiwan. You're actually my very first student. Yeah, well, the first batch of students. Yeah, it was 8 years ago when I first came to Taiwan, so I'm super grateful for that batch of students, including Nancy, because back then I had no reputation in Taiwan because I had no track record, no students because I was working exclusively in the US as an admissions consultant. So I had not worked with any Taiwanese students before. So thank you for letting me walk you through the MBA admissions journey.
No, thank you for helping us get in.
I don't know, 应该是至少没有越帮越忙就好了。对。But 8 years later now, you're an HBS grad and a mother of one.
Of one, yeah.
Yes, and an aspiring entrepreneur. 然后我们最近有聊到说，looking back at your HBS journey， 老实讲，你跟我讲的那个感觉，好像 HBS 变成 Stanford 一样的。因为 there's a lot of like touchy-feely stuff that I feel was basically just a Stanford knockoff. Not to be offensive, but anything, but I'm glad Stanford, HBS people are learning in that regard. 所以今天我觉得特别想要请你分享一下，就是说大家对于 HBS 有很多 stereotype， 就是说是一个最好的 leadership training. It's almost like military training camp, which is no doubt true. 可是 there's this other side of HBS， 你自己觉得说是比较 touchy-feely， 让你对于人生的一些哲学，对于自己的一些认知，这对比以前有更强的一些理解。所以你这一部分 this is the stuff that I was really, really surprised by when you talked about it. So share that aspect of your HBS experience.
Right. 因为你问我的问题是 What are your highlights of your HBS experience, right? 然后我觉得我现在跟当初会回答的可能不太一样，所以我已经又过了5年了。
Yeah.
So looking back right now, hey, 5 years is a really long time. You forget a lot of the things that you learn. You forget your like case examples and all of that.
Yeah.
可是对我来讲最重要的东西是 if I think back,HBS 真的不是只是一个 academic experience， 也不是只是说HBS gives you a lot of like network. All of that obviously is true. 可是对我自己来讲 it was a very almost deeply philosophical experience.
Stanford.
Sure, you can say like a very Stanford experience.
Yes,
however you want to market it.
Sounds like touchy-feely. Sounds like interpersonal dynamics.
It was very personal. And then you might ask me like, okay, specifically what do you mean?
Yes.
我觉得像 HBS 的话 academic aside, all of that like benefit aside, 可能是因为 MBA 你2年你又不用工作，然后你每天都在上课 you're surrounded by like fabulous people.
Yeah.
It gives you that white space to really think about life.
Okay.
Now obviously like things happen during like your MBA years too. 所以我觉得基本上是一个很好的时间去 reflect on things that are deeper.Not just like, what do you want to be after you like graduate from MBA, but more of like, hey, what's your purpose? Now, what are some of your fundamental values? 然后你怎么样想要 apply 你的 talent? Like, how do you think about all of this? 然后 it's also not just you. It's not just you and your career. Obviously, 我们也在你如果读 MBA 的时候，我们那时候都27、28岁 so young.
Yeah.
So you're also at a phase where you're thinking about relationship too. 那 there's like romantic relationship, other like relationships, but also thinking through like, hey, how does all of this fit into your picture, right? 因为I think the core is you can never have a fulfilled and successful life if it's just like, HBS, you have a great career. That's just like one sliver of it. 是很冰山一角的。我觉得对我来讲 HBS 很有趣，然后体验最深的地方是它让你更全面的去彻底的去想说 hey, what do you really want in life? 包括 relationship, 包括其他的这些 factor. Stanford.
Yes.
You're like, that
Stanford
sounds like
stuff.
Stanford.
My God. Sorry, I think she went to Stanford. She just told me she went to HBS.
I just like accidentally went to like...
That Palo Alto school is called Stanford, not HBS,
got it.
Okay? Yeah.
It was
HBS
really
is in
cold.
Boston.
It
yeah.
was very
It was
cold
a very
there.
cold year, yeah.
It was a cold
Polar
Stanford.
vortex in California, yes. Yeah. 可是你提到我觉得最 fascinating 是讲 relationship 这一块，因为你自己觉得说 HBS 是你一个爱情的一个大考验。然后对于你这个绝对要问这个 I'm sure that's the question everyone is most curious about because you're now happily married, to a fabulous guy, mother of one. 你觉得为什么你会觉得说 HBS 对你的爱情观跟人生观改变那么大？
Great question, Kevin.
Yes, that's my job.
I see your smirk. But related to what I just said, right? 因为 MBA 是一个那么 holistic 的 experience， 你真的不是只在想你的 academic 和 career。我觉得其实 relationship 对我那时候经验来讲是一个很重要的 centerpiece。Long story short, no need to go into details.
Please do go into details. Yes.
No. I broke up with
for the whole world to hear. Yes.
Gosh, Kevin. Broke up with my like ex-boyfriend 在 MBA 的那段时间，可是这个故事跟后来的想法有什么关呢？我就觉得 it's really interesting in that point of MBA because all of these things are happening in your personal life relationship. Now, on top of it, you're in a world-class MBA program where all these world-class concepts are like flying in. 然后你又有那个 white space to think about life. I was pretty tortured at that time, but I would like looking back, connecting the dots. 我觉得这都是很好的机会，让你去更深层的 forcing you to think about what is important. How does relationship fit in? How do you want to manage a relationship? And on this, people love asking and making fun of me about it. But one of my key takeaways from business school is actually how do you apply all of these world-class business knowledge and sort of transfer it and leverage it, apply it to your personal life as well.
Okay.
Right, 因为像 relationship 的东西，我觉得很多东西 if you think about it, like all of the effort that you put in thinking through life, 可能很大的时间，你大部分的观众是 MBA applicants, you're type A, you're thinking about like aggressively how do I like succeed. 所以你花很多时间想说，我到底要当 consultant 还是要当 banker 还是要接下来当 entrepreneur, like crafting all the career story. But I think my takeaway was that all of that rigor and energy, the methodology can be applied to your personal life as well. Right, like thinking through very fundamentally, 到底什么东西是对我重要的？
Yeah.
然后像 personal life relationship, like who makes more sense? Like who makes more sense in terms of like being that romantic partner to you? Now, how do you like continue that process? 因为像我那时候在 HBS 的时候 obviously, I'm sure a lot of your female like audience are interested as well. 我参加了一大堆 workshop to figure out like, oh, like female leadership empowerment, work-life balance, how do you have it all? How do you manage it all? 我觉得有几个 takeaway 吧。有一个 takeaway 是 it was really interesting. I think Sheryl Sandberg said this or somebody like on that caliber. She's like, the person you marry is actually one of the most important career decisions you made. 那 obviously 你觉得这是不是正确是你自己的决定 but to me that rings a bell. 因为我觉得 totally spot on. It's not just the career that you choose that affects a lot of your life. It's also sort of like the people that you're surrounded by. 然后这其实也是我在 HBS 有机会去想，然后后来毕业之后很深化在我的价值观里面，就是 really rigorously almost managing， 然后 thinking through 你的 personal relationship 那一块到底要的是什么。
Okay,
all of this sounds really Stanford.
I know.
I'm sorry.
What is that?
Like
I
we're
mean,
so confused. Like
is Stanford running HBS now? Have we taken
know.
over Boston?
Yeah,
I
if you
think
ask
we
me
have.
all the business stuff, I'm like, oh, let me think. I don't remember, but
But yeah, well, I am glad that HBS is getting to be more like Stanford. Sometimes I also wish Stanford could be more like HBS and actually getting people to work hard. Yeah, I mean, actually read cases and stuff like that. It would be a good thing not to waste your education, but yes, that's a different conversation we'll have with different Stanford students. But you talked about 就是说你 HBS 毕业之后刚才是讲到说你怎么去 choose 你的 life partner。可是 HBS 的 education 也有帮助你说之后去经营这个 relationship. As your relationship evolves, as the life becomes more complicated with careers and managing a kid and a household, especially your husband Sita being also an HBS grad, 就是两个非常 superstar superpower 的人要 juggle career 跟孩子，然后两个之间要怎么去沟通，然后那个互动互补要怎么去进行。How do you handle that with two, super successful, super driven, super smart HBSers in the house trying to, manage their roles as mom and dad, as well as, career powerhouses? How do you do that?
We're still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
It's definitely not easy having two HBS kids in one household.
Yes.
If you think about it, if you're not in a relationship, your natural states need plan for yourself. Like things are much easier.
Yeah.
But when you're like a combined entity, there's a lot more consideration, right?
Yes.
那你怎么样去 maximize? 你怎么样去 plan? So it's interesting. Like me and my husband were actually in the process of some like life planning, some like career redesign because I think one of the key takeaways, another key takeaway, there's so many key takeaways from HBS is不是说你今天去了 Harvard Business School 那你就马上人生胜利组成功了，因为人生在每一个节点上一直都会有 challenge， 然后你一直会有一些改变 pivots， 像我最近当了 mom like oh my gosh it's not easy at all right， 所以你在每一个节点上你一直要去重新思考，然后怎么去重新设计你的人生， that's where exactly like me and Cedar are at. Now to your question, how do you do it?我觉得 nobody has a perfect answer， 可是其实某方面 MBA 是帮助我们很大的。And you ask why？ 我觉得像很多学到商业上的知识，像比如说 how do you actually like have an open communication? The fun thing is that we do it in our household as well. We hold quarterly board meetings.
Quarterly board meetings.
Board meetings.
My God. Okay.
We try to have open conversations, laying out sort of.
So you are at HBS. Okay, not Stanford. I get it now. Yes.
Yeah, we have board meetings. So
Okay,
it's like
board
less
meetings.
Stanford-y.
Yes.
But it's also about like taking all these like business knowledge 然后你这些 processes, applying it into managing a dual career household.
Yeah.
然后我觉得很重要的是 it's also a lot of times not just about you. Right? 因为像我现在 I almost think of myself as like a key player, but in a company. My company consists of my husband, my daughter. They're all key stakeholders.
Yeah.
所以你怎么样 optimize the whole entity versus just like focus on you. 然后尤其是两个 HBS household, 你怎么去做 joint career planning? 有点像 portfolio 的概念。一个人也许要做更有风险的事情，像我现在在想 entrepreneurship. 那 Cedar 的话，可能在 potentially 做比较 stable 的东西 vice versa. Like in a different time frame, we might be switching. And on top of it, in a way, we're like really greedy. We don't just want like the career end too, right?
Yes.
You also want to be a good mom, like a good parent, and
Right.
you all feel like fulfilled. How does all of these like life pieces fit together? 我觉得没有 perfect answer, and there's also no such thing as like you have it all. This might be like my bias,
Yeah.
but I'm sort of
我
like
觉得那个就是 life 的一个最大的 misconception. The whole idea that you can have it all. It's stupid.
yeah, maybe you can, but not all at once,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
所以是怎么样去 phase? Like choosing this links to a set of other options. Choosing this, there's a set of other consequences. 所以你在那个对的时候 based off of the resources you have, the life value you have, how do you make a set of decisions?
Yeah.
So we're still going through like life planning.
Sounds like you guys are doing just fine.
And we can...
Despite not having a GSB education, you're still living a good life.
We're doing okay, even without like a GSC education.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for the sharing today. That was very, very insightful. 希望你们大家听到 Nancy 的分享，对于 MBA 或者说之后的生活有更大的一些体会。
Gosh, they're going to think that people go to HBS to learn about love. Which
That's
is
not
true.
a bad idea,
It's
right?
not a bad thing.
Yeah, you kind of need to, right? 因为我是觉得说真的很不一样，因为大家听到的 stereotype 就是说、去一个 top MBA 基本上是一个 relationship graveyard， 因为太多一些诱惑，然后大家的心态又不是那么成熟，所以反而是会造成对那个 relationship 非常不利。可是 in your case, it was actually the best thing that ever happened to you in terms of personal life.
We went through a lot of like dark days, ups
Yeah.
and downs, but like takeaway is very
Yeah,
positive.
but
right?
all good things in life basically requires all those dark days to get there, right?
So wise.
Yes, just call me Master Yoda. Yes. 好啦，那我们今天就先讲到这边啦，谢谢大家，下次再分享。OK，
拜拜。
拜。